For the Built Ford Tough Studio, Boomer Esiason and Greg Giannotti. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan, simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network. And wherever you are, the free Odyssey app. Good Tuesday morning. As the day went on yesterday and more Juan Soto reports were out there about how he's unhappy and he's glum, as Michael Kay said, and Bob Klappich put out all this stuff. I was hoping Juan Soto would come out last night and hit 3 home runs. I was hoping he'd be sprinting around the bases or hit a ball in the gap and get a triple, show everybody that there is nothing to worry about and this is a silly conversation. Well, the opposite happened. The Mets lost. The team couldn't hit with runners in scoring position again, and we have another Juan Soto didn't bust it out of the box because he thought he hit a home run. He did not hit a home run, and then he was standing there on first base. Stole second, which I guess is a little bit of a consolation prize, but, man, Carlos Mendoza said after the game, we got to talk to him about hustle. If the manager is saying it, that means it's a real problem, and there are people in the Mets organization that are telling Bob Klappich, Michael Kay, and others that this is going on. So don't get on the people that are reporting it. Get on the people in the Mets organization that are telling them that, because I trust that those guys are delivering the right message. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, Jay. We wake up May 20th and the Phillies are in first place.
Yep.
All right, but that doesn't really mean much. I mean, we got a long way to go. There's a lot of things that are going to happen. I'm not going to overreact to all this stuff, but I'm not going to get on Michael Kay or Bob Klappich. They're just reporting what people are telling them.
Yeah.
And, they do a good job. They're around the teams. We're not around the teams. I can only make my observations from, being away from the team, reading all the things that people are writing, watching his body language, watch how he is playing, talking about his contract. And by the way, I did not bring up the private jet thing. Carl Ravitch brought up the private jet thing, and we were discussing the fact that, and that had all been reported. So Carl wasn't getting inside information or anything. It already had been reported as part of the perks that the Mets gave Juan Soto to get him over there and get him away from the Yankees. Hey, look, I would go to the Mets, too, if they paid me $765 million, gave me a private jet for my family, and gave me a suite and then 4 seats behind home plate. Hell yeah, I would go there. I mean, you'd be an idiot not to go there. But the problem is that, when you're loafing out of the box and you're doing all this stuff, I guess you're forgetting how much money that they're paying you and what that looks like to the fan base, especially if you are not really performing to the expectations of what we all have for you. Now, look, I still think that he's got so much time to get this thing right, and he will get it right eventually. He's too good of a hitter not to get it right, that he is going through what I would call right now probably a little bit of adversity, and he's going to have to deal with it. He's going to have to – and this, by the way, welcome to the Mets. Welcome to New York, where you are not insulated, especially when you make the amount of money that you're making. I've said repeatedly on this show that I would have never paid him this much money. I know that the Yankees didn't want to pay him and give him all the perks that the Mets ended up giving him. So I think it's crazy because I don't believe that a player, unless your name is Shohei Ohtani, is worth this kind of money. But that's his right to go make it, and I'm glad he did, and good for him because he's doing what he should be doing for the rest of his players, and that's raising the bar for everybody else, which he obviously has done here. But the laziness out of the box, the thinking that there are home runs or base hits, and he's sitting there admiring these shots. That's not going to play well with the fan base, especially with the amount of money and all the perks that he's getting.
Yeah, and speaking of the perks with the private jet, yes, he flies with the team, but he does get that perk for his family when they want to attend road games. So that is a thing. So
now is this all outside the luxury tax? Or did the Mets have to pay luxury tax on that too? And do they get hotel rooms and do they get car services?
Yeah, I don't think that's part of it.
Do they get security? I see where the entire family's got security now. Jeez. You would think they signed Jesus Christ here.
Yeah, well, he's not playing like it.
Well, but it's amazing to me, and honestly, I wanted him 4 years ago. I said that 1,000 times, and Jerry Recco basically was bouncing around the studio talking about how much I love Juan Soto, and I do. But, I want to see a performance that is commensurate with the amount of money, the amount of perks and everything else that he is receiving. Now, I want to give him time, and I don't want to really jump down his throat too much, but the fact of the matter is the Met fan, and plus it's all being amplified too by the disdain from the Yankee fans, and because they just came through the Subway Series, which was a nightmare for him.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten on some of the baseball insiders during free agency times where nothing's going on and they have to come up with stories and they put things out there and we have fun with like the maybe or could be's and all that stuff that happens. But when someone's reporting during the season and someone who's been around the game as long as Bob Clappage has been around the game, I mean, my goodness, he has covered baseball for decades. He's written books. Somebody that he trusts in the Mets organization told Bob Clappage that management is concerned about his happiness level. That clearly happened. There's no way that he's putting that out there without getting it from a legitimate source. Now, that doesn't mean that he's unhappy, but that means that someone in the organization at a high level is concerned about his happiness. That is weird. That is a strange thing. You get this massive contract. You get everything you want for your family. I mean, okay, you're not hitting it the way that everybody expected early on, but he's been through slumps before. The team is still playing relatively well. They've been in first place for most of the year, except for right now. What's going on where he would be unhappy in the clubhouse?
I have no idea.
He's moping around to the point that there's people in the organization that are worried about that? That, to me, is the most concerning thing.
I mean, remember the day he signed the contract? He looked like he was happy as hell.
He was in a hot tub and doing that whole thing.
Right,
and his
exactly.
brother was popping a champagne and everything else.
Right, and the other part of this is that pretty much as soon as the Yankees traded for him, it was like everybody knew that he was going to end up with the Mets.
Well, that was the talk. Is that
Yeah,
it was rent in the Bronx, buy in Queens. That was the line. Yeah,
exactly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right. And unfortunately, like I said yesterday, and I'll say it again, for him, the Subway Series was just a reminder of not hitting behind Aaron Judge and watching his replacements, 4 players, in fact, have huge impacts on the 3 games and the 2 games that the Yankees beat them on. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a mental hurdle that he's going through right now, and everybody on the Yankee side is going to amplify it. Understandable. And the only way that he's going to shut everybody up is to go on a tear and to hustle and to make plays and to run out, out of the batter's box and don't take anything for granted and just don't pull a Gleyber Torres,
Yeah, I mean, and this is twice, and then CBS Sports Network is showing it right now. I mean, he thinks it's a home run. It's not. He ends up staring at it, admiring it, and then ending up on first base. And when you come off of the series that you had and the out that you made the previous day against the Yankees, I mean, people are going to talk about this. So, of course, they ask him about that after the game. He says, if you watched, I hustled the whole time. Carlos Mendoza, when asked about it, said, yeah, it's something we need to address with him because clearly you do. I mean,
obviously, if he said, I hustled the whole time, and then Carlos Mendoza says, we need to talk to him, there's something amiss there.
Well, of course. I mean,
I'm not happy about this. I want him to do well. I want them to do well. I'm rooting for them. I'm a Met fan.
Well, that's why I wanted him to go off last night. I really wanted the conversation to be this morning, and I was rooting hard for him in every one of these at-bats. I did not want the conversation to be this morning where more ammo was given to the Juan Soto haters. But as you mentioned, there's still so much time for him to have a spectacular season, for the Mets to accomplish the goals that they set out at the beginning of the season. But right now, yes, this is just like last year where things got off to a really bad start. There were some real issues there.
How about Francisco Lindor the second half of last year?
It was unbelievable.
We're not even remotely close to that yet.
Right. Vaulted himself into the conversation for the MVP. He was awesome. So, yes. So I'm not going to you can't in a baseball season, make these determinations early. But there's no doubt that right now something is askew.
Amiss.
Askew.
I don't know what it is, man. Just get it going and get over with it. I mean, the fact of the matter is they're dumping millions into your bank account every single couple weeks. Mm-hmm. So your family's taken care of. They're flying on private jets. They got security around them. It's insane.
I mean, he really is unhappy or moping around or melancholy in the clubhouse. I mean, that's insane. I mean, that really is insane. You got now I know you're not hitting the way you want to, Juan. You'll get there. And maybe, you put the nose to the grindstone, you get out there, you start whacking the ball around again. But if you're really, and I know that money doesn't cure all ills, but my goodness, can your life be any better than it is right now?
It doesn't. Well, yeah. I mean,
you could be hitting a little better. That's it.
His professional life is great.
Yeah.
And should be great. Gets treated like gold. You can't ask for any more than that. it's just amazing to me that all of this is out there right now. And again, I'm not going to sit here and doubt Michael Kay. I'm not going to doubt Bob Clappish, as you pointed out. Like, what does Bob Clappish gain from making something up?
Well, I mean, at this point in his career, he doesn't need to do that. He's not someone who's trying to make a name for himself or throwing stuff against the wall to get clicks and taking, risks. He's talked to people. He's got sources throughout baseball. Now, whether or not you want to believe the people that are in the Mets organization that are concerned or think that their concerns are valid or not, that's a different conversation. But I believe that there are people in that organization that are concerned about the way he looks, and his demeanor is different. I mean, so we could have, if he wasn't on the Yankees last year, we could have had the conversation where we didn't watch him for 162. We didn't see him really. We only saw him for a couple series, Washington, San Diego, highlights, whatever. But we saw him as a Yankee for many, many games. And there's no doubt that early on, because let's just talk about early on, in April and May, that Juan Soto as a Yankee had a lot more energy throughout the game than he does in a Mets uniform. That is a fact.
He also had more success.
Right. So those things go hand in hand.
They do go hand in hand. By the way, up through 2025, through this year, he'll have made $205 million.
Mm.
And he's got 14 years left. The guy's going to make close to $1 billion playing baseball if you throw in all the perks. And I'm assuming the perks go for 15 years.
I would assume so.
I would think so, too. I mean, I don't even know how much money that would add up to. The 4 tickets behind home plate, the suite, the private jet, the security service.
Well, the suite's got to be close to $1 million a year.
I mean, my
right?
God. So this goes to
more.
show you that it's not just about baseball. The business around Citi Field is huge. And he is the linchpin to the success of Steve Cohen being able to develop and bring in a casino around Citi Field. He is the linchpin for that. Mm-hmm. He is to get political will on his side, to get the fan base on his side, to make sure that the team is winning, to make sure that Citi Field is a destination point. And he's spending the money to do that, and I respect that as a fan, and I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to win a World Series first, but secondly, and maybe even more importantly, it's the development rights around Citi Field and the downstate casino license. Let's face it, that is a huge part of all this.
Yeah, I mean, he's losing money every year on the Mets. If he gets everything he wants with this Metropolitan Park, he's not going to be losing any money.
He doesn't invest in things to lose money. I mean, let's face it, whether it be SAC or .72 asset management, whatever it is, he's made money every which way, and he will continue to make money, and good for him. But this story around Juan Soto and the amount of money and the perks and to get him there, there's another aspect to it, and it is a big business aspect to it for Steve Cohen. So, I mean, for us as Met fans, we want to see World Series. We want to see hustle. We want to see a guy that is living up to his paycheck and his perks. That's what we want to see. And thus far, it's been mediocre. Let's say it's mediocre. It's not been bad. It's just been mediocre. He's had moments. They just haven't been consistent moments. And I would also say when he's not having consistent moments, and then you throw into that, Pete Alonso now all of a sudden falling off the face of the earth, and Francisco Lindor, and Vientos and so on and so forth, the last 3 or 4 games have not been great in terms of offensive output.
Yeah, we're going to have to stop this Pete Alonso slide sometime soon because it is now, I mean, as Keith Hernandez said last night, this whole defense thing and throwing the ball is totally in his head. I mean, he has got the yips now with throwing a baseball.
Well, all right. So what? Yeah, I know. Well, we talked about that yesterday. And then you see him throw the ball to Kodai Senga last night, and they're all laughing and high-fiving and everything like it's some sort of joke. And I get it. Let's cut the tension and all that other stuff, and let's make it a little bit fun. And let's. I mean, this is like insane.
It's pathetic. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's pathetic. I mean, and that is, this is clearly a mental issue. As we've talked about before, I've been through these things, not at a professional level, making a ton of money, but I know what it's like to not have any confidence in doing something physically on a field or a course.
Yes.
So I understand that, but he's got to get that thing figured out and figured out quick.
And you know how I spend a lot of the day surveying sports around and what's going on.
Oh, yeah, you're a surveyor.
Yeah. And this is one of the things that's just driving me crazy, this whole Pete Alonso thing at first base now all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, he makes a play, and they enjoy the play, and they high five after they make the play at first base. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Saw that one later
Right.
on.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's insane. But I will say, taking the survey of sports, I'm a little ticked off this morning when I came in this morning.
Okay.
Because I was thinking about.
Is there something you want to save?
I think we'll save it because it does involve the Knicks.
Okay, so let's save it.
And
then.
I am annoyed, completely annoyed again. I have been annoyed since these playoffs have started.
Okay.
But my annoyance level has gone from 3 to now like a full-blown 10.
All right. Well, I'm excited to hear that a little bit later in the show. Also excited to hear Jerry Recco's first update, which is coming up next. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network.